Hello, love. I'm Aspen. I'm an embodiment coach. I support people in creating freedom in their life through the lens of the body. And this is a three-part video series on befriending the body. So, that vital relationship, you with you. Because let's face it, that is till death do you part. And this thing is the thing that you do all the doing with. And so, how we relate to our physical bodies, to our emotions, to our parts and pieces and reactions and inner world really matters. And you can think about the value for yourself. Like, why would it matter? Like, what would it be like if I had a different relationship to my physical body, to my emotions, to my inner world? What would it look like if it was more empowered? Do I have the relationship that I want? And to start to feel into that. So, this three-part series, I'm going to talk a little bit and then we're going to do a body practice so that we can feel it in our bodies. And each video will build on the next. And that's that. So, to begin, I want to say that relating somatically, so relating as a body to a body, when you do that, you relate to life differently. That the body really is the key. Like, we can't think our way to freedom. And you might have experienced some of this. I mean, I know on my journey, I started to get a little bit of awareness and understand, like, oh, I have these beliefs and these thoughts, and oh, this is probably why I do that. And like, we start to get some cognitive awareness, and yet we don't really feel any different. Maybe for a little bit, and it's just kind of fleeting and goes, right? Or we feel worse because we have the awareness, we know better, and yet we're not doing better. We're still stuck in the same patterns. We're still having a hard time with certain feelings. We're still reacting. And so, and I believe like even the most like, I've had like I have such a beautiful relationship with myself and I feel so present and so peaceful all the time. Like you still have days where you're just like, And so the body really is the key. And so everything we're doing in these videos, everything that I talk about is always through the lens of the body. And we're going to dive deeper into that. Um, so first, I invite you to start where you are. So that may be like, yeah, duh, but to take inventory about where you are. What is your current relationship to your physical body, to your inner landscape, to your emotions, um, to your stories, your patterns, your beliefs, your longings, your hopes, your fears? What is that current relationship like? And you might want to pause this video and journal and reflect on it or take some time after, but it's important to know and become aware of, well, where am I? How do I feel about all this and me and what's going on? And from there, we're going to start to open into some possibility. So I want to start with a quote from Matt Licata, and then we'll get into some juicy body practice. So, the freedom you are longing for will never be found in eradicating the unwanted, but only in attunement to the love and information that it carries. So, we can all relate to like really wanting to get rid of like these parts and these pieces of ourselves, or like, I just wish I could change this, or if I could just let go of the fear, if I could just. Yeah, what we long for is a deep, rich experience of being alive, feeling free, feeling whole, feeling love, feeling belonging. All of those things come from a place of really integration and connecting with all parts and pieces of you. And that inside those things that we think are like, this thing, this is the obstacle, if I could just get rid of this, inside of it is actually the thing that you're longing for. And it's a paradox and it's confusing and it's hard. And I wish it was easier, but that's where the juice of life lives. And so this could all be summed up as a turning towards, right? We're turning towards those parts and pieces in our experience. And we'll dive more into this as the videos progress. But just beginning that and to open up the possibility of what if I could like call off the war on myself? What if I could like stop this self-improvement project? What if there wasn't anything to fix or change or make better, and I could just meet myself right here? What if this was enough? So just opening up that possibility. So we're going to dive into a body practice, but first I want to speak about a real foundational piece. So what we're doing on this befriending the body journey, or embodiment journey, healing, transformation, whatever you want to call it, is we're increasing our capacity to be with the energy, to directly contact life. What I mean by that is to be with sensations and energy just as they are. So when anger comes, instead of this is anger and this is what I do and my body kind of contracts around it and I react this way and I'm behaving that way and I become identified with this and this is the story and this is the meaning. What we're doing is kind of undoing a lot of that and increasing our ability to just be with that heat, that shakiness, that trembling in the belly, that heaviness, that whatever, right? Just as energy. Because to put it really simply, something happens, inside or out. Like we get triggered, we get poked. Something happens, energy gets woken up, and our history comes in and says, shut it down. And we do it. We do it without even noticing. We tighten our tummies, we shove it down, we shift, we move this, we spew it onto someone else, we dissociate and come over here, right? Like we have all of these very nuanced ways, which are very intelligent. And it's important to acknowledge that. Like super, super intelligent ways of blocking this energy because as little bodies, we couldn't handle it. It was too much. And we didn't have, most of us didn't have like a safe container and attunement to help process or navigate that energy. So we had to do the best that we could. And our bodies found really great ways of toning it down, being okay, surviving, connecting, finding love, finding belonging, getting our needs met. And as bigger bodies, we might want to start to increase our capacity to hold that energy and to be with life just as it is, just as a wave that comes through, not as something that like, whoo, takes us and then that's all that we are and we're out to sea. And that'll become more clear, but it is a very foundational piece. And so you might start to feel into and think about like the ways that you get stuck, the ways that you contract around the energy. And it might just come up as like, I feel grumpy. I feel ticked off at the world. Or I feel like checked out. I feel really, numb and I'm just kind of like zoning out. It can come in all these different ways. And we do it, a lot of it unconsciously. And so always the first step is to start to become aware. And if you're curious about this and like want to dive deeper, this is all what my embodiment practice membership is about. I have weekly classes, bi-monthly classes, like tons of stuff if you want to dive in deeper to this. And so moving on, the foundational piece here is that we're directly contacting the sensations and increasing our capacity to be with the energy. And that, my friend, is moment by moment work. So it's not like we're going to go all in and feel it all and just go, because what that does is it overwhelms our system, it re-traumatizes, it enforces the circuitry of like, see, I knew it was too much. So it's moment by moment, it's breath by breath. And I think it's really important to say our body moves at the pace that it moves. We all have different traumas, we all have different histories held in the body. So it is so important to get the support that you need, to resource first, like to have a practice or have a group or have a teacher where you are finding safety in the body first, where you're resourcing and connecting to earth holding you, where you're finding like all these grounding techniques so you have a foundation before you even begin to feel energy and sensations. So know that like start where you are, move slow, and get the support that you need. What we're going to start to begin to explore is feeling sensations and feeling energy. And so I want to speak about finding the dance. So finding this kind of pendulation between Dissociating, not feeling, blocking, numbing, and fusing with it, becoming enmeshed, overwhelmed, identified. This is what I am. So when we're feeling energy and sensations in the body, we're constantly finding this dance, this window of tolerance, this window of presence. Can I be with this? Can I contact it and touch it and feel it enough to like I'm feeling it without becoming enmeshed? Can I touch it and be with it, but enough space so that I'm not overwhelmed, but not dissociating and stepping away, right? So it's this dance, it's this sacred middle. And that is something that you cultivate and you start to grow and you strengthen in your body and your knowing. But I just want to name it. So feeling energy, feeling sensations, finding that place where in this moment can I be with it? Moment by moment. All right. Because it's a muscle and you can strengthen it and it can grow stronger. Okay, let's dive into practice. So that was a lot of information. So you can stay seated or standing for the practice, but just before we even dive in, like shaking it out, moving the head, taking some breaths, taking your eyes away from the screen and looking around for a moment, moving some muscles in the face and the shoulders. Just taking a few breaths, letting that information be digested. Okay, when you feel like you've kind of shaken it out, you can find some stillness, seated, standing, whatever you prefer. And I'm going to invite you to close your eyes if it's comfortable for you. If not, just kind of cast them down, soften. We're just going to begin to drop into the body. So, closing your eyes, casting them down, taking a few deep breaths. Feeling where you make contact with the support underneath. And then we're just going to practice moving our attention into our right hand. So letting all of your awareness and focus go to your right hand. And imagine filling it with your awareness. So feeling your hand from the inside out. And beginning to notice physical sensations in your right hand. So perhaps temperature. Maybe tingles. Maybe pulsing, throbbing, light, heavy. Just notice what sensations are in your right hand. Notice how you're feeling your right hand, not thinking about it. You're feeling it from the inside out, and you're feeling physical sensations. You're directly contacting life and the energy that is right here in your hand. And then just gently shifting your awareness and attention to your left hand. So now really filling your left hand with your awareness, feeling it from the inside out. What sensations are in your left hand? Noticing temperature, movement, pressure, directly contacting, feeling sensations, feeling energy. And now explore holding both. So feeling both your hands, infusing them with the miracle of your awareness, feeling sensations. And when you're ready, you can take some deep breaths and slowly start to come back. And reflect on how that was. What did you notice? Were you able to feel sensations? What came up? Was that weird? So just to explore for yourself. There's no right answers. So what we're doing is we're just starting to open the doorway into a felt sense. So moving from the thinking self into the feeling self, directly contacting sensations, life, and energy just as it is, without needing to fix it or change it or make it better. We're beginning to strengthen that muscle so that eventually we can start to feel those big waves, that wave of grief, that wave of anger, and we can start to build our capacity to experience and hold that, just like we did with our hands. So that's where we're moving towards, and I really invite you to take some time between now and the next video. If you're watching these as they come out, you'll have a week. If you're watching them back to back, I still invite you to give yourself a little bit of time or to take something from this video and put it into play out there in the world. So if it's this simple practice of feeling sensations, we started with our hands because that's a nice entry point in, but you could explore your feet, right? Just if it's this practice of noticing sensations, or if you want to take, the reflection of exploring what relationship you do have with your inner world, or if it's finding a group or finding a class, finding one-on-one support to dive deeper, just taking something from this class and putting it out into practice, into play in life, so that, because that's like what really matters, right? Like, oh, if we're all peaceful and calm and can do this on the cushion, but then out there in life, we're just like drowning, didn't really have the effect we desired. So take something with you, and I will see you in the next video. Comment, let me know what you thought, subscribe so you get the notification for the next video, and I'll see you there.